Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Imris Saga Advent of Calamity, the first session in the Ice mini campaign. I'm joined by a lot of familiar faces, in fact, all familiar faces this week. Say hello, everybody,
Hello, everybody.
with the enthusiasm that I know you all possess.
Well, some of us.
Since we've all played before, but it is technically a new thing, I want to have you do a long introduction. But if everybody just wants to go around real quick, say their name and who they're playing. I am, of course, Andrew, your insanely humble dungeon master. I like playing with Kristen specifically because it's easy to get a solid reaction out of them. I will go around in the cameras are off right now. Or some of the names are switched, but if Jack, if you want to introduce yourself.
Thought you were going to explain the camera situation a bit better, and you just let into Jack introduce herself. Hi, I'm Jack. I play everything that is on this channel. That's it.
That's factual. Kristen.
I'm Kristen. I don't play everything on this channel.
Not yet.
Almost. I think I'm getting close.
All right. Charlie.
I'm Charlie, and I play nearly everything on this channel. But Ilya tonight.
A good amount. A lot. Like 8% maybe, at least. Probably more than that. Probably like 95% in terms of hours.
I don't volunteer for 95%. It just happens.
Yeah, I mean that's how D&D work, right? Just happen. David.
I'm David. I play one guy and one guy on this channel only. Felipe, the blade singing wizard.
That's a solid guy.
He's a good guy. He's a good
We like
city
that
boy.
guy.
Yeah. The Queen's equivalent of your world. That's where he's from. Just a good old city boy, having a grand old time.
All right. So it has been some time since we've seen these various characters in their own world. It has been a relatively short time since we've seen Henthir and Ilya, but it has been longer for them. So you, after the events of the Earth mini campaign, Henthir and Ilya kind of contacted Anya. And explained what had happened and Ilya's the connections that Ilya had noticed between the plot that they were involved in and the events that took place underneath the core mountains. The Spotify was coming through on the wrong audio. Make sure that that doesn't get DMCA claimed on YouTube. But I'm sorry, guys. I would love that you could hear the music, but it just doesn't work.
We do listen to exclusively 4 hours of California Love.
Yeah.
So it would get copyright claimed.
It's all the Eagles, and only because I
Aren't
hate
they called
the
just
Big
Eagles?
Lebowski.
Don't they specifically not have the in their name?
Probably. You're probably right.
It's a tangent, but
I'm actually positive that you are right, but I don't care.
I'm also positive I'm right.
So after that contract was happened, kind of plans were formed, things were researched into. It was discovered that there are, in fact, 5 of these dragons, these elemental primordial dragons, that were worthy of concern. I think I will say I don't remember if I mentioned this because it was up in the air which character Kristen was playing for a while, but I think you guys also came into contact at some point with members of the adventuring party who went and stopped the rise, we'll say, the escape of the water dragon, some of you remember as having played that campaign as well.
We got exclusive notes from Morgan.
From this old lady who was there. A shocking and intriguing story. And of the remaining two, there is the dragon in the icy north, and one that is somewhere up in the clouds, supposedly hidden. It seemed to the group that it would probably be easier to go after the one in the frozen wastes. And so a team was put together, now consisting of Henthir, Ilya, Rudy, and Felipe. To explain the cameras, Bubba from you might remember from our game was originally supposed to join us. They unfortunately couldn't make it. They might be here next week, maybe not. But we will assume that they will follow up if they are going to be able to make it next week. And if not, then they just weren't included. We'll ignore the layout for the time being. Probably turn their camera off. The things are wrong except for me.
I did not turn my camera off. I got disconnected. I'm fixing it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry to call you out that way.
How dare you?
Well, you know me. So, you guys have been journeying for now, well, for some months for some of you, because you took a ship up to the north where you landed in one of the. There's not really big harbors or anything. There's a couple, but a lot since they freeze over a lot here. The Gathite, who are really the only permanent inhabitants of this area, will carve out places for ships to dock as need be. You guys landed and came to a village where you met a guide who began to point you in the correct direction. I think you've been journeying now for maybe a little over a week or so. You're at this point starting to be, even those of you who are not that affected by the cold, it's just annoying. It's this vast snowy landscape that is somewhat unchanging for miles. There are mountains and hills and that sort of thing, but there's very little in the way of vegetation or life. As you are going, you come upon a area with slightly less snow, a bit less patched on the ground. But there are lots of these from a distance what seem to be statues. One of them particularly large, either a oversized rendition of a man or the statue of a large giant. But there's also many other smaller ones. All of these statues are somewhat broken, bits, pieces. There's also evidence you can see like runes, but it's all seemingly carved out of pure ice. Anybody who wants to at this point in time want to check. I'll also accept a history check, but for vastly different information.
I'm gonna need to do that thing again where I check all of my features, but when I get advantage on things. Just give me one moment. Not that one. Not that one.
Wow. Rudy coming in with that nat 20.
Sure. I might have a reason to have advantage. I can't be bothered continuing to look for it.
Rudy's like, that thing's old, but it's got a sword, so I automatically know about it.
I mean, I don't think
These are the wrong dice.
so. Rudy, to help explain this flat roll that crits. Though you don't know much about magic, you do know a little bit about stone and stuff like that. You have a sneaking suspicion that these are far too realistic to have been carved by mortal hands. Something about them is superhuman in a strange and off-putting way. They are simply too detailed, even with the age and breaking, especially in the face. Various depictions of surprise, anger, this battle scene, as you surmise, is before you amongst the troubled ruins. Henthir, you learn a little bit more focused information. You suspect that some magic turned these creatures into statues of ice here. You're not sure about the context of the battle or who these people were, although clearly one of them was a giant of particularly sizable proportions. But this is the first interesting thing, really, that you guys have come upon, other than the occasional monsters that you've had to patch. As you all are looking over this scene, can I also get everybody to make me a perception? I'm also going to place.
Is it related to keen senses type things?
Yes.
Okay. You said we could have an uncommon item.
Yes. Not a luckstone.
just
Somebody
gonna-
asked about that.
All right. Well, then I had. I'm just going to take a cloak of protection.
Okay, that's fine.
Also, Andrew, I don't know if it matters, but I'm setting the resistance on the rogue captain's leathers to necrotic.
Okay, good job.
I think I could give myself necrotic resistance in Foundry somehow, but I'm just going to write it down.
You can, but I don't automate any of the damages anyways, so it doesn't.
Cool.
You can move yourselves a little bit if you want. You don't. Henthir is saving all of you guys.
Hey, I am not that wise, but I do have animalistic senses.
You have
so.
So while you guys are all looking over this scene play out, Henthir, you notice or something in your animalistic senses, I think, directs your gaze up to the sky, where you see two flapping wings of what seems to be a dragon flying high up in the sky. You distinctly see a creature on the back of it. This creature is either, you're not sure from this distance, either this is a particularly small dragon or a particularly large rider, just given the difference in their dimensions. It's hard to see up from the top. But you do notice the person, this creature, they seem red skinned, and you think you can make out forms look down upon you, point. As they do so, your eyes are directed to the opposite side of this long frozen river, where you see starting to rise out of the ground a number of creatures at this point in time.
Because I noticed in time, can I activate my hybrid form?
Yes, I will actually allow you to do. You can activate your hybrid form for free, but you can also get one. You can do one thing. It can be a movement, some kind of action, whatever you like, before the initiative goes off. Not a full turn, but something. If you rolled slightly better, I might have given you.
Yeah, I think Henthir just like he's a old elf in a robe. You know that he's wearing leather armor underneath it, but he like flexes, and you kind of see this energy ripple along his arms until you hear the shattering of both his hands, and then his hands begin to kind of morph and shift in this undulating mass until they morph into clawed, feline-esque hands. And I will imbue them with lightning, I guess. Oh wait, no, I have a new one.
I will also tell you, I mean, you can see on the map, but these creatures do appear to be giant. they do appear to you to be undead as well. You can see like they're not like zombies, and they're clearly not skeletons. They seem to be more advanced undead, but you can just smell the scent of undeath upon them and see it in their faces.
All right. So thunder, instead of lightning, because I have the esoteric right for that. And then this is, we've been spotted. Beware. And like he points across the river as he's already like starting to sprint across the bridge.
You got it.
Have the rest of us seen this old guy turn into a werebeast before?
I know Ilya definitely has. I that's up to you guys.
Probably not. I think
we're going to
generally
do a little bit. I will say we're going to do a little bit of the same thing we did for the last one, where we're opening on the fight, and then I'm going to backtrack slightly to do some character interaction.
I think, as with last time, Henthir very rarely like just bursts directly into this, but there's a dragon rider, and like these things are clearly a significant issue. But if we've been traveling for like quite a while, he's probably made it clear that he is a Bloodhunter that follows the order of the Lycan.
Ilya's just like very slightly wincing and says, "Oh, already to the bones breaking. That's how you know it's bad."
I'll take your word for it.
Everybody can see their tokens and everything in the map. Okay, right? I'll take silence as agreement.
Yes. That ain't great.
Charlie, is your roll just slow?
Apparently. Hold on. Let's see if refreshing fixes it. You can roll
Only
it for me if
person.
you like.
I'll roll it for you.
Yeah, go
Is
for
it just D20?
Yeah, +1.
They have a
I got-
+1. Hey, look at that.
Oh,
Also,
It was a 2.
3.
Oof.
It's still not last.
This is what I get for letting Jack roll for me.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it.
Rudy also with this kind of, although you notice this all happening slightly later than Henthir, you are very quick to spring into action. You are going first. You have a higher initiative, or higher dexterity rather.
Yeah. So obviously I do think the first thing I do is go into a rage. Which I think is already tacked on. Is already on my token. Is this so the only way to get over here is via the bridge? Is this wall?
No, the wire you see is completely frozen solid. You think all the way through. You could, and Jack, if you want to change your movement based off that, you could walk across that. It is slightly slippery, but for especially for the two of you, that's not really it.
Yeah, I'll change and run across that. Also, I didn't run even like close to my full speed, so I will fix that. I was just importing the item.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
I think I'm going to rage, and then I'll do 35, and then I think I'll take a dash action just to get up into their business. Five. That should be about up here. And I think that is my turn. It's just the movement.
You just full sprint it.
Yep. I'm not going to get in this position like I did the first time I had a fight with Rudy.
Ah, crap. Totally messed up. Alright, Um, well, I have to go. Give me one second.
So yeah, if we've been traveling for a while, Henthir normally like has so many different stages. So if we fought like some bandits, he's just stood there tolling the dead them. Like sometimes he draws one scimitar, but this is the first time that he's ever probably like actually considered a fight to be from the outset significant enough to unleash some blood.
I mean, they're
Oh, I
giant.
think I accidentally double clicked. That's right.
Yeah, Felipe's been doing this a long time, so he's certainly seen some shit, but he's also like, damn, all right.
Yeah, this is definitely a like big surprise. These things are big, and they are. There are also, I will say, furrows in the ground where these things are like have risen up as well.
Oh yeah, I think I should. I'll state this out loud as well. For my ring, I've got those set to Felipe because he is the character that my character knows the best, and I think
probably the squishiest. I would have to check that. Ilya, actually, no. Ilya definitely has.
Okay,
I'm
then
pretty tough for a wizard, but I'm still squishy.
Yeah,
feels like it would be
Charlie,
weird
did
to
you
put
roll
it on
awful?
Ilya.
Yeah, Ilya probably has not endeared
Yeah, that's
herself
true.
enough to get that.
Yeah, he did not roll.
Rudy, don't get too far from me. We got a game plan here, and it involves me being within 30 feet of you.
Well, hurry
catch
up!
Little legs.
So this
Move your little gnome legs.
this one that walks up to you is slightly more undead looking than the other two, which for the most educated amongst you suggests probably the least powerful of the three. It's clearly zombified. Its arms are slightly like slying here and there, and it's got like old wounds that are covered in ice to kind of help keep it all together. It still is going to walk up. Two attacks with this massive great axe at you. First swing. Hitting. Second swing.
Yeah.
You will resist all of this damage. Wow, that was a really good roll on those d12. So you're going to take... Hey, this is 14th level combat, Rudy. You're going to take a total of... actually... You're going to take a total of 26 damage, and that is already reduced thanks to your Barbarian. As both of these, it's a massive great axe that this thing has. Comes down on you. You've got your shell and everything. It doesn't do as much damage to you as it probably would have to any of the other characters. But it's still a probably as big a blow as you've taken in recent minutes.
Hell, you hit like something else, I'll tell you that.
I for some reason I forgot about the voice for Rudy. Okay. I think Henthir should go. I think this is wrong. Go before. Yes. Sure.
I have a +5 to Dex.
Yeah, it's got a mic. Okay. Yes. So it is then going to be Henthir's turn. Henthir, you see this zombified thing walk up, swing twice at Rudy, and then.
Give me 1 second. I have to remember which things I get in this form. Trying to remember what gives me the regeneration. I'm pretty sure I have it in this form.
You.
Oh, it's advanced
do.
transformation.
It is advanced transformation.
Yes. Okay, great. Okay, and I have you just see the like flecks of blood kind of pull back into Henthir's hands as they reknit themselves, and I'm just gonna wail on this thing like 3 times, I suppose.
Yeah, go for it.
Does a
That's
29 hit?
for sure. It hung on that 3 for a second.
Does a
A
17
17 does hit. Well, you are finding that this is not a hard creature to hit, given its massive size and relative lack of.
I'm just gonna be clicking some dice for a second. Good job, Hemocraft damage. So the first one is I think I don't remember how this works, but I assume that the only the Hemocraft damage is thunder, or is it all of it?
Only the Hemocraft damages.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so 14 normal plus 2 thunder, 13 normal plus 2 thunder, 12 normal plus 3 thunder. So 16, 15, and 15 for 46 total.
Your claws in this hybrid lion-esque form, like they are deep. Just the flesh is cold and it's like iced over, so it's like slightly more solid. Just if you're trying to carve through normal flesh, but you still like just hack it away as the thunder rivets small blows out of your claws deeper into the flesh.
And
Yes.
can I notice if any of it is being resisted or particularly effective?
It does not seem to be resisting any of this damage that you're doing. It is not, however, particularly vulnerable to thunder damage either.
Henthir, knowing the location of Rudy, of Ilya and Felipe, I think murmurs quite softly to Rudy, well, magic weapons work. As he was just like very workmanly, just slashing across this, like the leg of this giant.
You hear this from this, hulked out.
No, he's still very lithe. He never gets like hulked out. It's only his hands right now.
Oh, you didn't go all the way. Got it. All right.
If I went all the way, this would have been a better turn.
Problem. Henthir. And the other one behind it, one of the slightly more solid formed is
No.
Never seen an armadillo become paste before.
Oh no.
It's got a
Okay.
10-foot reach. It's just going to hit me behind you.
It's fine.
Hey, it could. It is actually going to start out by, as for one of its attacks, it is going to kick ice. It tries to bury you in ice and snow, kind of a foot, almost, much like somebody would kick, say, a soccer ball, just digs into the ground and tries to cover you both in a flurry of ice and snow. I need both of you to make me strength saving throws.
Okay. How do you do advantage in
Shift click.
shift click things?
Charlie, when you asked me about infusions, I don't have any that infusion now. Because that would help. Just get buried in snow, I guess.
Your magical strength
No, I
infusion.
won't.
Oh, you're fine.
The greatest 900-year-old lion ever.
All right. You both just kind of take this, buffet it as you do. It does not knock you down despite that just massive amount of weight that is thrown onto you suddenly. And you stay on top of it, on top of the snow. It will follow this up by swinging down onto Henthir.
He has a disadvantage on any attacks that are made not against me right now.
From which?
Spirit Walker, or not Spirit Walker.
Okay.
Totemic attunement. I took the bear.
Oh, that's your 14th level.
Within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you has advantage. Oh, I'm reading from the book, so let me drop that into the chat.
Okay, I found it. Okay, I think it's still gonna attack. Actually, no, it will attack you in that case. Or drawing fire. This will be a one-handed swing, so we will. I will just.
That's
All right. Swing down on Rudy. Hitting. Most of these attacks are gonna hit. So we're and that's true both ways, I think, at this level of combat. You take 11 points of damage as this slightly smaller but still massive battle axe also lands on your shell. They're trying to crack you open, like people hitting crab with rocks. That's going to be its turn, and then we're going to go over to Felipe. Felipe, you see Rudy and Henthir just kind of like, flanked by these two massive creatures bearing down on them.
All right, and I'm gonna look at that and be like, okay, time to unlevel the playing field, and I'm gonna look at the big boy, and I will cast banishment on him.
All right.
At 4th level. 17 charisma.
Please tell me they don't have like a +10 charisma.
I rolled a 17, but
so I have a question. I have
Yes.
a reaction spell, but since it's my turn, I can't use it because it would be a second spell on my turn.
that
You
is
can use it.
correct.
The rules about the 2 spells are specifically that you can't cast a bonus action spell and a second spell. It's an insane way for them to have designed the game.
Because I have a thing I could do, but I can only do it if I'm allowed to cast a second leveled spell on my turn. It's not a cantrip.
I'll let Andrew check, but I'm pretty confident because I read it and was like, that's an insane way for them to have written this.
Can I do it? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I guess it is. I guess it depends on how you interpret it, because it is a separate statement, but it is under the bonus action heading where it says you can't cast another spell during the same turn, except for a cantrip with a casting time of action. So
It
I'm
works
gonna
that way specifically
say
because you can counterspell. You could otherwise never do that.
right. I'm gonna say you can do it. Not sure what spell you're going for, anyways.
Cool. So if he succeeds, which he did, I'm going to cast Silvery Barbs at
That's
him.
very strange.
So he has to roll at disadvantage now. Oh, I guess it rolled for him. And if you take that roll, he still would pass. But that would be what I was trying to do.
Is he in range for that?
It's
Yes,
16
he is. He is exactly in range. Okay.
Yes.
We will use that roll since it.
Sure. Sure.
Man, that makes silvery barbs really, really good. I guess that's the intent. So you cast the spell, and the creature, like, is focused. Whatever magic holding together seems to be particularly resistant to these kinds of spells. You try to use your silvery barbs to then distract it, catch it off its guard, but that too not enough to break its concentration, or not concentration, but delve into its mind.
I think that for the material component that was an object of distaste, Felipe just flashed the Ring of Warmth on his finger, and seeing it didn't work, he just like shakes his hand as if he jammed it in a door, and is going to charge forward, full movement, onto the ice. And I will try to go.
Who do you give the advantage?
Yes, I am going to give it to. That's a great question.
Everybody's in range.
I guess before I move, I'll give it to Ilya because I don't know what they're going to do.
Okay.
So I just say, good luck. So you have advantage on pretty much the next anything you do for 1 minute.
Okay. So if I do something in that minute, the advantage is automatically used. It's not a choice like a bardic inspiration.
That is a great question. I guess
It's just
It is
next.
the
I do
next.
my-
Exactly.
Yeah, it is the exact next one. So you have to use it. You do not get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, in that case,
It is your turn.
okay. Give me just a moment because there's a couple of possibly better options than what I was planning then.
While they're looking through that, Andrew, is this ice difficult terrain?
I'm gonna say no. It's not for the moment. The map. There's probably actually much more snow on the ground than this is depicting, so it's not as slippery as you might.
Cool.
It probably also isn't as much grass, but I like the map for the statues.
It's a very cool map.
This is a. Never know how to say it. CZE and Peku.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. 10-foot radius sphere. Let me see if I can get range for this then. 2. I can, in fact, get a radius for that and not hurt anybody. Okay. So yeah. Ilya just gives Felipe a very like short, stern nod, and marches forth almost like, casually after him. Double check my speed there. And like originally she'd had her hand at her belt their belt where a sword would go. But then kind of like rolling out their shoulders when they felt Felipe's magic wash over them. They're going to stop at this place and right here, and I will describe shatter only if it works.
I will also say this is a bit of a drop down, but it's not far enough, and there's enough snow that you all have just been jumping down easily.
Okay. Oh snaps! Shatter is a saving throw, not an attack roll. Damn.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, I'll do Scorching Ray then. Scorching Ray is an attack roll, if I remember correctly.
But
The
you
first one
will
is-
only do it on the first roll.
Okay.
But it might be good. Fire damage.
Yeah, I'm hoping
Uh,
the fire damage will be nice.
Who are
I don't
you?
think I have anything else that's a better.
What level are you casting at, and who are you using?
The 2. Let's just piss them all off. I think they're all in range. Hold on, let me see how.
Yeah, Fortune rate.
Okay. Well, I'll cast 2 at the one that have been hassling Hen and 1 at the other one.
You casting it at base level?
Yes. Alright, that's all I have, I think, for that one.
Ah,
Alright. So Scorching Ray, roll it out.
we'll do this 40 injured one.
Yeah.
When this is all done, I really want to see Ilya's character sheet and the insanity that
It's
you put together
it's
for
an
this
interesting
character.
thing to look at.
This character
is
that
a-
does
it is-
essentially nothing well.
It is a disaster of a character sheet. Like,
You have
very much
advantage.
on purpose.
You do have advantage.
Also, how do you have only +6 to your spells?
Because
Ilya, what?
this is because they multi-classed into Artificer, feeling inspired
It's-
by Anya, and that
Is-
they're a warlock with no int.
Hey, that one hits.
Oh, good.
It's
Oh,
very
good.
funny.
Okay. Low AC.
Oof.
Cool. That's real nice. Nice. Alright, and let's see. Scorching Ray.
Just roll 2 20s for the next ones. Just like
I like your...
That hits as well.
Okay.
I love that this came up just after Andrew saying everyone's gonna hit.
No, yeah, it's...
Just
I for some reason forgot that
Ilya sucks.
that not all of
Ilya
your
has nerfed
spells run off of
themselves.
charisma.
Um,
I'll probably just say that you could have used charisma for artificer spells. It feels needlessly punishing for your character
I
choice.
asked about that, like, way back when I thought about Ilya. Alright. I'm actually gonna roll that last one on the same target. So as this happens, Ilya's Artificer nature is that rather than cast spells in a very traditional manner, they have a bunch of little tools and trinkets. And for this one, they swing off a ring, twist it in their hands, and then just toss it into the air. And from above, from that spot above, is where the rays emanate.
Hey, that also hits. Go ahead, Judy.
Never making fun of Ilya's intelligence.
I should have just given you a headband of intellect.
That makes Ilya smart though, and I think that's problematic for the character.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ilya's not absolutely dumb. They're still more intelligent than your average fellow, but it's a 12 on int for an artificer, which is oof.
I do like the tension that has
and-
been built by their spellcaster being the last in initiative.
one, the 3 scorching rays, pierce out of the heavens, landing on this thing, causing it, burning flame. It does become bloodied as it takes this fire damage. The fire damage doesn't seem to be particularly extra effective, but it is not effective. And burn. So this one in particular is dressed like, it's got lots of these skulls and clearly like totemistic items on it. It is going to
And cast power word kill on none of us.
Disintegrate.
over to here.
I assume Rudy's still like 100
Yep.
points above power word kill.
Standing just absolutely towering over Felipe, our short king
go.
over here.
Let's go. I'm used to it.
Okay.
Let's go.
You're all slightly too far.
Yeah, we did positioning good. We're strategically sound.
Traveling together a week.
Yeah.
First thing you do is positioning.
All based on
Oh,
how
right.
fast we can run.
Followed by tragic backstories around the campfire. But positioning first.
Yeah, you're actually like perfect for basically all of its AoE stuff that I can't hit Felipe and other people. Um, you know what?
Alright, I'll make note of
They
those.
just really
Make note of
don't
those
like
instances.
Felipe, who tried to banish their friend. So they are going to kind of inhale the like icy cold air before out onto you and you alone.
Oh.
I'm ready.
Wow.
I assume this is not a spell before.
This is a magical effect. It is not something you could counterspell. They do have spells, but I chose not to use
But
one.
it is something that
For
I
sure.
could swap places with him.
It is damage. You could swap places with them because that
Yes,
doesn't.
I think Rudy watches this happen, sees their squishy wizard friend, who is now the closest person they have in this party, and immediately knows they need to take this damage. And I think I'm still allowed to make the saving throw as well.
Yeah, you can still make the saving throw. If it had been an attack, it would hit you regardless if I had already rolled. But if you're doing it before the save goes off, you can still.
Yeah. So
Go
that
ahead.
switch happens, and do I get advantage on?
It is a con save. Not. I think you only get them on dex saves.
I get advantage on strength saves.
But you also have dex saves because of danger sense,
You're right.
but not con saves. You just have a massive con save, so I think you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
And it hovered on that too for a second. I was worried.
You do swap places. So Rudy, you go from being breathed on with ice to being flanked by two giants instead.
I can wait. Will I be able to do that again in this round?
No, you will not be able to do that
No!
again.
It's going to be your turn in 1 second.
As Felipe materializes where you were, he just holds up his ring of cold resistance to you, like.
I think the problem was if you were encased in ice. That would have been very
Oh,
funny.
if that happened, that would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been significantly harder for our +1 Felipe to make that saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
You do still take half damage, I believe. Maybe that's wrong.
Yeah, you still take half damage on a successful save.
Didn't even enter my.
So 30 half to 15, halved again to 7. You take 7 points of cold damage.
Do you get halved on elemental damage too now?
They're a totem.
Oh,
So they always did.
That's sick. That's dope.
They're a bear totem.
Very cool.
Yeah, so you only take 7 from that. They're a big move. You also are not encased in the ice. You just shrug it off as it shatters around you. This cube that threatened to engulf Felipe entirely. Their movement action. That's their turn. Be back to Rudy. You're now standing in front of this giant undead frost giant shaman that has tried to encase Felipe in ice, but you took that blow for it.
God, there are two things that could happen now. So I know Rudy shouts over to Felipe and goes, "You think you got it over there?"
I'm not so good with the big hammers.
Slightly importantly, you can't willingly activate the ring. They have to be in danger.
No, but I can go back over there and
you can go back over that. That's true because they did not get close enough to do that.
Force that disadvantage on attack rolls against them. But I don't want us all to be in the same spot for area of effects right now.
Stay where you are. I'll be fine.
Okay.
I got stuff.
You say so. So I will move just a step closer and take two attacks.
All right.
using my Warhammer.
I think the ring is probably too good, but it's one of the most favorite items I've written because like of this situation that the tanks can have it and swap out somebody and maybe land them in a worse situation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
those
really
both hit.
like it.
Yeah.
Definitely both hit.
Does that have the
I don't.
the extra points for my rage added onto that as well?
Your bonus +3 right now?
For the it's +3 for raging, yeah.
Then yes, I think it does have.
Okay. So it should be plus. Yeah, that makes
Yes,
sense. That should
yeah.
be 9 1. Yeah.
Yep. You're just Barbarian. You take damage. But you do give the this giantess. I'll go by the art and say female. Slamming this warhammer into their legs, trying to break something in there. Two big blows up. The zombified frost giant, who is one of the legs is looking like it's gonna give soon. It's got like tons of flesh torn out. It's also got several scorch marks on its back everywhere. It's gonna take a big swing.
I did 46 damage to it
First
last
at-
turn, if that's a consideration.
Yeah, it'll do both attacks again. That's it is just going to bear down on you. Great axe go. The second one misses.
21 does hit though. All right.
31. These d12s. Yeah, this massive blow
Edging
just
towards
like
powered kill.
it's you almost dodge out of the way, but it's just such a big weapon that its reach is so large that you have trouble moving in time.
That was not relevant for now. I was trying to fix my hit points.
No worries. Okay, that's gonna be its turn. Then it's gonna be Henthir's turn. Yes.
Henthir's smart. Have I noticed from fighting this that it is capable of fighting at a further range than as close as it is? Like if it has reach?
It is your understanding that, based off of their fighting abilities and their size, that all of these creatures have 10-foot reach with weapons. You also imagine that it could pick up a boulder and throw it quite devastatingly.
Sure.
If that matters.
I'll file that away for next time. But we'll just like step to the extreme range of its axe and slash across this second one.
Okay.
I'm going to assume a 14 misses.
Yeah, it is a miss.
Henthir does a sigh of like being let down by my body once again, and makes a second attack.
It hits.
And I will use Brand of Castigation to. So as this backhand slice with his left hand comes up and does some damage, the blood that rips out of. Do these bleed?
They bleed a little bit, but it seems to be like start to freeze almost immediately.
So instead of it freezing, the blood that like rips out of it hangs in the air for a moment and elongates to be strings to Henthir. And by definition of being within 5 feet of him, also Felipe has some strands connecting them. And then I'm going to go back to fighting the one that I would like to kill. And then I make my third attack.
That hits.
That die went forever.
That was pretty quick for me.
17's a hit, right?
Yeah, 17.
All right. And this time it's
Not
just like
for a long time. That was good.
it's just a running like uppercut of this
You're
thunder
not
energy.
rolling well on those extra d8s. Well, the 7 was pretty good though.
I mean, look, I still did like 34 damage that turn, and this is not even my final form yet. So, like, it'll be fine. The blood strands continue as this like arcane energy stops those wounds on the other one healing properly. That doesn't actually have a mechanical.
There's turn. This one, been deprived of its previous glory, is going to lightly. Going to actually we'll shift here. So that now the two of you are sandwiched between them. And in the place of its first attack, it's going to give out a war cry. Need yeah. I didn't get Ilya. I need the 3 other characters besides Ilya to make me wisdom saving throws.
Oh no.
As it lets out this war cry, which bolsters the 2 of its allies while simultaneously weakening Felipe and Henthir, who are now sandwiched between them. So the 2 of you are frightened till the end of the giant's next turn. It doesn't do this as one of its attacks, even though that's more sense for writing. It then gets a bonus attack, which it will use on Henthir. A team for 15 points of slashing.
And it takes 10 points of slashing damage as the blood like crackles and penetrates deep into its like primordial brain. Just pain.
It's I didn't read that. The other 2 have advantage on attack rolls until his next turn. Of course, Felipe, you are. It is your turn. You are frightened by the creature.
Cool.
So you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. You can't willingly move closer, but you can't really move closer anyway. So.
Felipe is going to just like relax every muscle in his body simultaneously and enter the blade song. So my AC goes up, and and that's a bonus action, and very nimbly is going to reach into his component pouch and pull out a little bit of powdered silver and just throw it out in front of him at the feet of the giant warlord. And I'm going to cast Magic Circle on the giant warlord.
Right.
Because I believe he is 10 feet radius in girth. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have the template. That's right. There you go. So, and I will set it to undead.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's going to have disadvantage attack rolls again.
And he also cannot leave.
I will say that breaks your frightened as well, since you are within the cylinder according to the map, and targets within the cylinder can't be charmed or frightened by the creature. That breaks your frightened.
Exactly. Yeah. I was hoping I could get me as well, but I wasn't sure. But if I can, great. And now that I'm no longer frightened, I am going to shit. I don't want to be close to this guy. I'm gonna just shit. I don't want to be close to this guy anymore. I'm gonna just slide between Henthir's legs, and I'll take whatever attacks of opportunity I take, and I'm just going to run back in this direction. Yeah.
It will take a passing swing at you.
It does have disadvantage because it's attacking you through the circle.
Missing you. Big whiff as it's slowed by this magic from the circle. Good use of magic circle.
The blood strands snap away.
And as I clamber up
Not
onto
that
this bit, and as I clamber up onto this bit of ruin, I'll just shout over to Rudy, "Don't worry, I got it. We're good." As I keep trying to move as far away from this thing as possible. Oh, I can go a little further, so I'm going to go my full movement. Yeah, that's it.
All right. It's going to be Ilya's turn as you see this rapidly evolving battlefield before you.
And so the red token is bloodied.
Yes. He's by far the most injured of the three.
All right. So in that case, Ilya is going to carefully pick their way across this ice. 30 feet. Let's see. 1, 30 feet. There you go. And once they arrive at their spot, they're going to they're kind of like looking at Rudy this whole time in sort of like vague consternation. Having watched Rudy just throw themselves into this spot on Felipe's behalf, and they're not quite sure why. Like they don't mind Rudy, but they're just mystified this, and it's very obvious. And they're going to reach down and just kind of like test the weight of a chunk of ice that has been knocked free during all of this fighting. And then they are casting catapult directly from them in that line for the blue and red.
Sure.
All right.
Also, Andrew, sorry, I moved an extra 10 feet because I forgot Blade's song gets him to 35 feet. Cool.
I was wondering why you
We
said your
love
full
your-
movement when it wasn't your full.
All of last game, I forgot that I had 35 feet of movement with Blade's song, so I'm determined to not forget this time.
So that,
Do you not have Warlock spells, Charlie?
They succeed.
the dex is low. I have hope.
I have to make the other guy. No, meet or beat. They also succeed.
Oh damn!
Despite having a -2, I just happened to roll well.
Oh, that is some real luck there. All right. I don't think I have a bonus action that applies here.
This is why Ilya is not even Henthir's apprentice.
Nope. All right. Oh yeah, I don't have a bonus action that applies.
Right. All right. That's gonna be your turn. The
Cat came back.
Yes, I did find her.
they well, first I'm gonna roll 6.
Oh, cute.
8 are going to pass.
I want everyone to know I'm in power word kill range now, so it's very important. We also have no healers, right? Great.
Do we still have all of our healing potions from our previous
Yeah,
campaigns?
if you had healing potion stuff, you have.
And just a reminder, they have a disadvantage on any attacks not against me right now.
Well, they have advantage, so that's gonna cancel out.
Yep.
Spells are better against people who.
feels thematic that all of the giant spells like attack things that Totem Barbarian just doesn't care about.
It's fine. And brush it off. I've fought worse in the mountains.
Okay, they are going to summon up an ice storm.
Okay.
Are we still all just extremely awkwardly placed that this can only hit one person?
That'd be really
Well, I think I can get people. I might have to move it afterwards. Oh, no, I got it right. Okay, I can hit those three, just barely. You were very close to all being impossible for me to hit with any of the AoE spells that this thing has.
If this is a spell, I will counterspell.
It is casting a spell, yes.
Okay, I am just at 3rd level. I am going to.
Okay, go ahead and roll the ability.
Yeah, it's just an intelligence check.
Yeah, straight in.
This has never worked for me.
You need a 4.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah, they begin to chant and hold aloft this. They have this giant staff that's like got and stuff on it. They hold that aloft, and you see a storm of ice begin to form when Felipe fizzles it out, and that does not.
They hated me before. Now they really hate me.
Yeah, they look. They don't look frustrated because they're undead. But
Ilya gets a sudden look of recognition
that's
on their
their
face,
turn.
like, "Oh, that's why you saved that one."
I think they are gonna move 5
Utility.
20 to be right here.
Are they? Did that provoke an opportunity? I can't tell how many squares are between us right now.
Just the 5.
Okay.
They circled around. Right. It's going to be Rudy's turn again.
Rudy raises an eyebrow and will take 2 more attacks with their warhammer.
What's an armadillo eyebrow look like?
That's exactly what I was wondering. It's like,
Wow, running the gamut there.
What a pair of attacks!
Whoa,
wow.
that's bad. Do you have 3 brutal criticals yet? I forget when that happens.
Let's see. I think I only have 2 brutal criticals right now. 3 happens at 17.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right.
Okay, so let's see. That one definitely hits.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The best rolls, unfortunately, but still.
And something that I forgot to do last time is I get to, as a bonus action, if I hit, make an unarmored strike with my claws.
That does hit. Did you mean to make 3 attacks, or was that a misclick?
That was a misclick.
Got the first big crit. Oh, nice. They are they're not bloodied, but they're starting to feel the pain as you just hit them straight in the kneecap. And you hear a large. Their leg slightly goes out before they adjust, and then you dig one. You take another big swing for the other knee, but they're kind of expecting this blow, and but you get the claw up into their calf with the next strike, dealing a lot. Right. Did you want to move at all?
No, I think I'm good where I am right now.
All right. The zombie, unable to really think of much besides kill Henthir, kill, kill, kill.
How does it know my name?
Is going to.
It has advantage.
Oh, you're right. Do that. Post facto. Didn't help it. It's still 1 hit though, right?
20 hits. Yep. Could you do 20 damage exactly?
I did 26.
All right, hang on. Let me roll a hit die because as Henthir drops to below half hit points, his sash activates and just gives him a burst of healing. What is it? D10.
You need
plus
6, is that what
3.
I'm hearing?
I don't need 6.
Well, but
I would like. I'll just exceed a
hey,
wisdom
there you
save.
go,
That's fine.
13.
There you go. Yeah. I I wanted to not have to worry about the roll. Great.
Right. The first attack hitting, but the second one you kind of preempt a little bit, even with their bolster from the war cry. Dodge it. It is now your turn. You are still frightened.
Yeah. But it just means I can't move towards that thing, right?
You also have disadvantage on attack rolls.
Against that thing. Or all attack rolls.
I believe it's any attack rolls. Yeah, any attack rolls while you're within its line of sight, or while it's within your line.
I have a +10 to Arcana. Can I roll to see if Henthir understands that stepping into that circle might purge the frightened effect?
Yeah, +10. I will just give that to you.
Third
I
buff
think
spell.
he. Yeah, I don't have spellcasting though. So
You have a higher
I think
Arcana than me, and you don't have spellcasting.
well, he's an actual elf.
Right.
Yeah, so Henthir like feels the fear take hold in him, and he like steps into the circle and feels it just like evaporate away. But I will still make my attacks against the zombie one until it's
Good.
dead.
Magic Circle helping out a lot. That's gonna hit.
It's a great spell.
I'm gonna do these one at a time, just
Yeah,
because
you should, because
it's more relevant here. Oh, that's better. Yeah, 18. Then the second one.
that's it.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Henthir is just very good at hitting consistently.
It's not quite down
21.
yet.
Okay. I knew the last one was going to miss. I was wondering if I was going to waste a thing to like make sure it didn't miss, but that's fine.
Never mind.
The last attack does unfortunately miss. As you go in for the killing blow, you can tell this creature's legs have been torn up. You're now like, it's slightly going clutching down, and you're going up into its chest now. You go for a swipe against the head, and it just pulls back at the last second, and you barely miss it.
The rest of the fight is going okay, right?
It seems that way. I mean, you guys have you and Rudy are the only ones who've taken significant damage. Of course, a fair amount, but everyone else seems to be good. You've avoided most of the spells with a variety of creative good tech.
Yeah, I think I'm not gonna burn anything else to get an extra attack then.
Okay.
But I will step further away from this thing to be like not in its range.
It will get an attack. So
it already attacked Felipe when he left.
That's correct. Thank you.
What we didn't realize was that this Frost Giant has Misty Step.
He still has to make a charisma save.
He has to make a charisma save and then a wisdom save against Brand of Castigation. There's two ways that the teleport could stop. It would be very funny.
Yeah, I think he just can't leave, actually. He
does
not
teleport,
have a spell.
He can't leave. If he can teleport, he can, but he still has to make a save.
Man, that is wonderful.
Yeah, he can't leave, so instead he kind of like slams at the ground and like pulls up a chunk of ice, and is going to it doesn't get 2 attacks with this. It can only do it once, but it will instead, in frustration, It's going to chuck a rock at Felipe, who has trapped him. It does have disadvantage still because it is with the thing. Go for it. 22.
Oh, I counterspell, no shield. So that hits.
Okay.
Right?
Sorry, I was trying to interpret what you said there. Yes,
Sorry,
you did
yeah,
counterspell this
yeah.
current turn.
That is this turn.
So you have used your
That does, even with disadvantage, that hits.
Can I swap?
if you would like to. It will hit you for sure.
That's fine.
Thanks, Rudy.
I should maybe put a limit on that. I thought I did, but
I don't
Thanks, Rudy.
I don't think you did.
it doesn't say that I did. I think that was an oversight on my part.
Magic circle isn't concentration next time.
I like that Felipe doesn't even need to be moved around quite this much, but it's just like.
I mean, Rudy's like, hey,
thrown around.
I can take the damage, and you are going to take this damage.
I'm big, I'm tough.
32.
Ooh, I'm not that tough.
You take 16 points of damage as this, giant ice boulder crashes into you and just breaks upon your body.
That is so truly okay.
Yeah, that's its turn. That's all it can do. Can't move. It is then going to be Felipe's turn.
Cool. This creature, the shaman in front of me, do they look bloodied yet?
No, they've taken some damage, but they're not bloodied.
Okay. I am going to brandish my short haft spear, and I'm going to make 2 attacks, but because I'm a Bladesinger, 1 attack can be a cantrip. So I will use it to cast Green Flame Blade first.
That hits.
Okay, so we can do that damage first. Bunch of damage. Yes, and the acid is from my magic spear.
Right.
And it, I guess, looped into the fire would be my spear's non-magic damage as well. Yeah, it would have to be because it's 2d8.
But it only takes. It only takes 12. The other 12 would be if it was for another.
Right. Because I'm at a higher level right now, it would be 2d8.
Oh, I see. No, it is 24, but if there was another creature, it would take 4.
Yes,
it's
that's
just
right. It's my
outputting
intelligence modifier.
Slightly weird. Got it.
So I guess the fire damage is also my spear's normal damage because there's no way I could have rolled 12 on. I guess I could have rolled 12 fire damage on 2d8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
it is correct.
Cool.
You did take 12.
Okay.
They did take 24. That's your first attack.
Awesome. And I'm just going to stab it with my second attack.
All right. That hits. Well, not that much, but a quick upward thrust. It is bloodied after this as the green flame hangs on its form for a moment. And then do a quick stab as it's now, somewhat on fire and has lots of these wounds.
I am going to. Yeah, I think I'm just going to sprint and join Rudy right here. And that is the end of my turn.
Right. Okay. Going to be.
Alright, so Ilya is going to saunter almost like they're walking directly away from the giant at first. Oh, well, first off, Ilya is looking at the weapon of this creature. Does this creature get an attack of opportunity if they saunter it at that distance?
Sorry, what was the question?
If Ilya is looking at the length of this creature's weapon, would they get an attack of opportunity on them if they?
Yes.
Okay. So
they all have
okay, so in that case,
I positioned myself accordingly.
Ilya is looking irritably at that chunk of rock that failed to hit them, and is just going to finally draw their sword that just kind of materializes like from a gash in the
Oh,
air around
actually,
it.
sorry, Felipe, did you move? I think I missed that.
I did. You can swing at me for
Okay,
sure.
I will.
Yeah.
They will take a
Hit me.
frozen hand axe that they've got. They miss.
Doesn't hit me.
So Ilya, they have already taken their swing. You could move if you.
All right, and in that case, yeah, Ilya notices that the creature is still kind of like balanced from hitting them, steps far out of its reach briefly, and then closes back with it, removing their weapon from their hilt as they do. And they'll be, I think, here. And they are going to use Thirsting Blade to take 2 longsword attacks. Ooh.
That hits.
Okay, and then they'll take a second one. Oh.
Party composition's really funny.
And then
I'm really enjoying it.
after their second attack misses, Ilya, who is not wont to step in front of attacks like Rudy, just vanishes back 15 feet. It almost looks like they've like skated backwards, and they clicked their boots as they did so.
Right. The shaman. Yeah, counter spells. They're just going to move to here and take a swing at Felipe.
Disadvantage.
Okay. They do get 2 attacks. Like when would hit, if you want a shield, your reaction is back.
I will not take my reaction. I'll take the hit.
Take 25 points of damage, 8 of which are cold, which I think you got a ring of warmth, so that's reduced to 4, so a total of 21 points of damage. Freezing hatchet flashes into you, or hand axe rather.
Cool.
That's going to be their go around. Rudy, and because we haven't done it, if you want to, during your turn, at some point, describe your character.
So Rudy is going to take this opportunity to once more do what they do best and take 2 swings with their warhammer. And excellent. So what you guys see is a giant armadillo decked out in different types of furs, hand knit items, looking very cozy and down in the woods, absolutely wailing on this guy. And then I'm also going to bonus action digging claw.
Also going to hit.
Cool beans.
Nice.
Your digging claws, I think, have historically been such
by far your
weapon.
best. Yeah, your best damage rolls. I think that was true last time too. You do not kill the creature, but you do further wound it. It is like on its last leg. You fully crush the knee, which you had cracked, and they're kind of like mostly leaning on their one leg at this point in time, and kind of like slightly leaning on the ground as well. So they're slightly looming over you at this point in time. You dig up a
Feel
claw.
free to take a knee.
What's that?
I said you can feel free to take a knee, buddy.
Well, you just took their knee. Did you want to move?
Forced to take a knee.
No, I'm staying within 5 feet of him.
It is going to be Knight's turn. Teetering, tottering, it's going to try to kill Henthir before Henthir kills him.
As a
Doesn't have.
wait, well, I'll let you tell me that you're going to make an attack roll, but then I'm going to use my reaction.
Okay, I'll make the attack roll. Should I bother to make the roll?
Yeah. I'm going to amplify Blood Curse of the Eyeless. So every attack roll it makes this turn, I can roll a Hemocraft die to reduce it by that amount.
Okay. First attack rolls. So
It misses. Its blood boils instead of the cold that it is used to.
Second attack roll.
Well,
I don't
that's
think you can.
So I'm not going to roll.
You did avoid one attack, so you take 17 points of damage. Probably its final act before you kill it as it rushes down. It's holding its eye in one other hand, blinding it. It is then going to be Henthir's turn.
I also have to take damage for amplifying that. Sure. Alright, so I take a total of 21. Then I make a wisdom save, because it's the start of my turn and I'm below half health. Although this will do nothing, because I'll just
attack him.
thing. I fail.
You do fail.
In a rage, not a rage, but in a frenzy, Henthir's hands become slick with the blood of him and his opponents, and he just slashes with a claw.
And if you can describe Henthir.
Yeah, I will do it during this because I think there's a interesting thing. Whoop. Ignore that second attack roll. Or choose to use it. I don't care. But I didn't mean to make it.
Do the other. I think you missed them.
Yeah.
That's going to kill it.
So 20. So
Henthir is as well.
Henthir is an incredibly old elf. He walks when he's just traveling, he walks in a way that looks slow, but is still outpacing the rest of the party pretty easily. He looks pretty frail. As I said, he wears a robe and he has white hair that's in a ponytail. It's even longer than it was a few months ago because he hasn't really had the inclination to cut it. But he's also now wearing a cloak that is fur lined with lion fur, because I think that's what his cloak of protection is. And his armor that already gleamed has small little embezzlements of lions' heads on them. And as he kills this, he jumps into the air, cuts across its face, pulling that blood out. And I'm going to amplify Blood Curse of the Fallen Puppet. And he yanks the strings of blood to puppet this creature half its movement speed and make an attack against the shaman.
Right.
And I will take.
You
the
can roll
damage first.
if you want. It's plus 10.
It's plus 15 because it adds my Hemocraft modifier.
Well, then it's don't roll a 1.
Well,
too late.
okay.
I thought for a second it was going to be a 1. That does hit. It's 3d12 plus 6. Unless you add anything to that.
No. I rolled 3 rolls
1.
worse than you.
You potentially could have killed the shaman with that. I just want you to know.
Yeah, I did want to kill.
You would have had to roll really well, but it was possible.
But yeah, it as it stumbles forward, Henthir, each finger controlling one of its limbs, brings the axe down, and it slumps forward as the axe falls. And then, since that was my first attack, I'll just wander on and hit this guy. Now that I have control of my frenzy again.
Is this something Ilya has seen?
The blood puppet? No.
Yeah.
Because I think I got it at level 14.
Okay.
This is new. This is a new depth of this thing.
Hit.
Hit. Great. Click. Click. I also forgot that I regained 4 hit points at the start of the turn. My Hemocroft damage is so good. Thunder damage is bad. That's what I've learned.
You then slash twice with your lion claws at this one, also trying to rip flesh out at the last. His turn. The Frostjack Warlord, now that you have returned, still can't leave, still stuck inside the circle.
Still has disadvantage on attacks.
Yeah, Felipe is probably MVP. Henthir has done a ton of damage, but you have debilitated my enemies.
I think this frost giant thing, and the counter spell is Felipe is the MVP.
It's gonna make 2 attacks against you, both with disadvantage. Both missing, as thanks to it's slowed by the magic circle, hits the ground next to you both times. And then looks kind of sad. It can't move. It just stares. Felipe, it is then your turn. The frost giant in front of you now has the great axe of its former companion, now slumped dead, embedded in its back. It is kind of on one knee, one arm down on the ground, so it's kind of looming over the two of you, mouth kind of up in your face.
Cool. I'm going to run behind Rudy and just be like, with your permission, I need a springboard.
Hell yeah, let's do it!
And I'm just going to flip the short-hafted spear around, so I'm holding it like a dagger, run up the armadillo back, leap into the air, and thrust it down towards the nape of this giant's neck. And I will make this a green flame blade attack.
Go ahead and do that.
Oof, not great.
That does still hit, just barely.
Oh, fantastic.
Only the one guy has AC above 15. The other two have 15.
Cool.
What does the death look like?
So much damage.
Yeah, so you see this tiny 3-foot tall gnome kind of in these worn leathers, a ring with a gold filigreed viper head sort of sculpted into the metal hanging from his neck, spellbook strapped to his arm, and he just like freezes in the air for a second and then thrusts the spear down, and you see acid colored fire lick up the top of the spear blade as it just thrusts into this giant's neck, and then he just twists once and painless death, and then lets it fall to the ground under him as he sort of surfs it down gracefully.
There's a bit of a shudder as the ground shakes slightly, much like it did with the other one. You still have one attack.
How far? I guess I would be here now, roughly.
Yeah, I think you could make it with 35 feet. You move.
Okay. I'm going to run up to our friend in the circle. How hurt do they look?
Yeah. They're not that injured at the moment. They have taken some blows, though. But you have been focusing on the other two for the most
part. Cool. I mean, I'll take the attack. I'm just going to make a normal spear strike. Oh, there's no way. Yeah.
That does miss. It kind of ping off of some of the armor that this creature is wearing.
Yeah, and in true Felipe fashion, after doing something cool, he goes and he trips up. He's like, fuck! And then he's just going to, I guess, end my turn right there. I will stand my ground.
Ilya, it is then going to be your turn. There's just one foe remaining trapped within this magic circle, railing against its bindings.
Alright. Ilya is going to march forward, this time taking a very direct path and then just kind of like stepping almost on but just narrowly avoiding the corpses. They walk around like in the gaps between its limbs. And they are going to just release an Eldritch Blast. Things seem under control. This is alright.
I think
Just do the best aspect of Warlocks.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm pretty sure that in that entire other fight with Henthir, like Ilya almost never bothers to do anything with their Eldritch Blast. And do you want them described at this point too?
yes, please.
All right. So Ilya has on a very new gleaming dark breastplate. It has almost like silver engravings or etchings, like somebody has laid wire very carefully into it, to show an angel and a was it a dragon or was it a demon?
A demon.
A demon. So yeah, it's an angel and a demon, like counterposed against each other. The demon is silver, and the angel of Cordal, which is like very visibly wearing the sort of armor in gold. Um, and the breastplate just stands out so much against the rest of their attire. Nothing else that they wear looks one so well kept, or as valuable. Their arms are not armored, but in this cold, they've kind of pulled a fur cloak around themselves. And when they release their Eldritch Blast, they seem to do so from almost as though it's coming from the tip of their sword as they just fling it out. And that uncanny rip in fabric of reality sort of color that is in the sword just extends forth as it hits the critter.
But do your damage, and you also get 2 more.
Is that without enabling the breastplate?
You get 3 by default. I don't know why you would ever do anything else, honestly.
Because honestly, I hate Eldritch Blast. It's like it becomes everything.
I understand it. It's just really good.
It
The
becomes
third
everything.
one hits as well. Right. Different. The creature is bloodied by this. All these. One of the Eldritch Blasts flies wide, like kind of dancing against ground, but the other 2, like rocket and land in either shoulder, taking chunks of smoldering flesh with them as they pass through the creature. It is just barely played. And now comes the pile on as Rudy. There's one enemy left.
Oh hell yeah! Rudy is going to charge on over here. Would Rudy know how Felipe feels about physical contact in any capacity?
Felipe's pretty much chill with everything. He's a
Okay.
kind of
guy. Rudy like puts like a gentle claw on Felipe's shoulder and is like, "You did a really good job. You did a really great job. I'm sorry about that last whiff."
He just like grabs your claw, inverts it, and then fist bumps you kind of awkwardly. It's like, it's all good.
And we're going 2 more Warhammer attacks. And then
And your claw.
I shall.
It's gonna hit as well.
Love to see it. Ah, bummer.
Solid damage regardless as you take these 2 Warhammer things, now railing against this one's legs as it too is kind of starting to drop to its knees before you take a swipe across its chest, laying bare iced flesh. Henthir, continue the train of pain.
Hang on, I have to make a wisdom save.
I think that's.
I'm fine. Henthir, faculty still intact, looks at the creature and the blood that still connects them, and kind of willfully steps out of its range to like goad it into attacking him.
Would that also
But
get
this is-
With disadvantage. Right. What was that, Kristen?
I was going to say, I think that also gets disadvantage.
Yeah.
Was all I said.
Yes. Misses
And
either way,
then
but
we'll sprint. Not sprint, because it doesn't require me to dash. But appear here, and then the blood that... the strings that are connecting to just Henthir branch out to connect to all three of us now. So if it attacks any of us, it will get it, and I'll make my 3 attacks. This is an outrage.
that's a miss. The first one battering against it. Second one hitting. Third one hitting as well.
I'm going to roll more than a 2 for one of these Hemocross die. I believe in myself. Nope. Okay.
How?
Thanks,
I've
game.
watched it happen every time. It doesn't seem logistically plausible.
You
but-
got it 7
problem
once.
The problem is it doesn't want me to be using thunder. It wants me to be back to lightning.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Henthir
so damage.
unleashing more blows on this creature as it's now kind of just surrounded from one front, being battered, unable to really counteract you guys in any meaningful way. It is going to... I think this one's intelligent enough to know that Felipe has trapped it and forced it into this hellish new existence. It is going to make 2 attacks against you at disadvantage.
Cool.
Nope.
Oh.
Second one just missing though. As it again unable to really move with any amount of speed or strength, constrained as it is by this magic circle, you just dodge out of the way easily both times.
Sometimes
then going to be-
disadvantage is bad, and then sometimes it's incredible.
Sorry, actually, that's a really good point. I always forget if I have to maintain concentration on Blade Song.
No, I don't think. So.
I don't.
It-
I want to double check. Okay.
I think. Let me look real quick. If I remember,
It
I
has a
think
feature in it
it
that makes you better
has.
at concentrating at other stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get advantage, or I get a bonus to con saving throws for concentration, but I don't know if it requires concentration.
No,
'Cause
I
I did take
don't think
damage,
so.
but
It would be really bad otherwise.
yeah, I don't think it does. Never mind. Okay, we're good.
And I don't think Magic Circle does either, does it?
No, it doesn't, which is part of the reason why it's so good.
Super good, super good. I was like, hey, I'm dead. Nobody's a cleric. They won't have that much to do against me. It is your turn now.
Oh, cool. And you said this creature is bloodied, yes?
Yes, it is severely damaged at this point from the from Henthir and blows.
So just to kind of sort of retcon a little bit, that fist bump that Rudy gave Felipe during their turn, it sort of like had a funny bone effect that you feel rippling through your body, and after you took your previous 2 swings, it kicks in. You are hasted. As I cast haste on you at 3rd level. And I am going to stand my ground and hope that Rudy will take care of this
All right.
on
Ilya,
their turn.
your turn.
Oh, I also second wind as a bonus action. Sorry.
Your 1-5.
With my 1 fighter.
Yeah. Ilya with like this. Ooh,
Good second wind.
that is a nice second wind. Ilya with like this expression of like extreme distaste on their face. Swings their sword once again, and whenever they like first swung it, they'd swung it down, and they just kept the arc. And this time they just swing it across their chest, keeping the arc like they're moving, almost like they're in a like a performance, or like they have been in some sort of drill in the past. And guess what? It's 3 Eldritch Blasts.
Yeah. Let's see it.
Because once you've done it, the DPS is addictive. Oh.
That first one misses, unfortunately. Second one hits though. Third one also hits.
That lingering on that one, I was gonna get real pissed off.
Nice. Both of these also tearing into the giant now on both knees, just railing against the magic circle, seeing its second death imminent. Move into Rudy's turn.
So I'm about to hit this thing at least 4 times.
That is correct.
Oh boy.
Also, not that it matters at the moment, but you have +2 to AC, and your speed is doubled.
Yeah, I'm not moving anywhere, buddy. Okay, so my first action are those, and then for my second action, I will just hit it again.
It's
With twice.
also.
It's only one extra.
Yeah, it's only one extra attack.
I thought it was one action, like you get one full action.
I think it specifies if you have extra attack on your second action, you can only use one attack.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it is a full action.
One of those is a digging claw attack, right?
Yeah, it does give you a full action, but it says in the thing that you can only use. It only gives you one more attack. So you could have cast another spell. Do that.
Okay, so I've got those two, and I'll roll separately for digging.
I will tell you this is for sure overkill, but roll on the whole lowest damage.
Every time I imagine Rudy's digging attack, like
2 of them.
They put their warhammer between their teeth or something, and then just start madly armadilloing.
You kill it. Go ahead and describe its death.
So Rudy takes the hammer, first hit, smack. Doesn't quite do the damage that it needs to do. And this kind of upsets Rudy. Hits it again and again, and it's eventually throws the warhammer away, and with both claws just rips in to the the lower thighs at that point where if you slice your leg, you bleed out within minutes.
Icy blood drains from the creature as it crashes down. It kind of slumps against the bonds of the magic circle for a moment, but as it fully dies and the animation leaves it, the magic circle no longer having any effect on it, dead. It slumps the rest of the way forward, landing in a plume of snow. Combat fate.
And I didn't have to attack one of you because I rolled good enough.
Good job, Henthir. All right, I think we're gonna take a quick break. How you guys feel? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Great.
I'll just say 5 after.
Sounds good.
Okay. We will be right back. See you all in just a minute. Right. Welcome back, everybody, as we go into the second half. This, you guys kind of look over the, maybe not ruins, but look at your defeated foes, we'll say. Their bodies lying on the ground. Henthir, you have a moment where you look back up to the sky where you remember the dragon and the rider. And you can see them, but they're long in the distance now, seemingly not having stopped really to watch the fight as it occurred. But heading what you understand to be direction that you want to go in.
Well, that potentially bodes ill for the future of this endeavor. A dragon rider flew in the direction we need to head.
I'm sure we can take him. We've all taken a dragon in some capacity, I think.
That's true.
At this mention of dragon, I think we will journey back slightly to about a week ago, a little over a week ago. You guys have just pulled in to a small Gathite village whose name you probably don't know. The sailors who have taken you here probably don't even. But you had chartered a ship, booked passage, heading to the Ilharkor Wastes. It is a Gathite ship, as very few other merchants or ships tend to make port here. When they do, it's mainly to trade in ivory and various kinds of blubber that can be found up here in the north. For different reasons, or for some of the more rare alchemical goods that the monsters that can be found in the wastes provide. But you had a decently pleasant journey. You were kind of in cramped quarters, but I think you're still all, at this point in time, kind of fresher to one another. You have been journeying on the ship for a while, but you've only just met quite recently, still in the thing. As you disembark, you find yourself in this village. Tall Gathite move about easily in the snow, brushing it all aside. Most of the village here seems to you kind of semi-permanent, like it could all be taken down and reassembled somewhere else quite easily. But for what is there, there is roads that have been cleared of snow, and you can see it's later in the day, so there's hunters carrying nets full of different kinds of animals, fish, and all kinds of other things, heading back towards a large central bonfire in this village that seems to be kind of also serves as a sort of market. You can tell even from a distance that it has to be quite warm near there. There's something slightly odd about the fire as well, which some of you might notice. If anybody who wants to could make me.
If this is to do with Fae, undead, etc., fiends, I have advantage, and also if it's to do with an evil thing happening here, I can get advantage.
No, I will say no. The only one it could have been was Fae, but I don't think it's.
Okay, then Rudy, you're like, either you know Arcana or you don't know Arcana, there's no in between.
Very specific knowledge set.
I know about giant ice statues. That's it.
They were spooky.
Felipe, did you want to roll?
Yeah, sorry. I need to reload Foundry, but
Oh, of course.
Hold on. We have physical dice while that happens.
And you have
2
plus 9.
So 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
Henthir, you have.
My dice suck.
Continuing our trend of rolling the highest on these skill checks for the most part. Henthir, you can tell that this fire is magical. It is not burning the wood as quickly as the heat output would suggest and the size of the fire. You can just tell by looking at it that something about the fire. It was probably cast to do this some kind of almost ever burning flame, but a really large cast of such a spell that you imagine it must have taken some time and effort to do, probably ritually. You're not sure what flavor of magic it is, whether it's divine or arcane, or what kind of caster it might have been from. You don't roll quite high enough for that. But you can tell that there is a magical essence.
It's like a giant continual flame.
As you remark upon this, a couple of the Gathite come up, kind of down the constructed dock that they have here. Look at you. In common, one of them says to the group, "Welcome, travelers. Rare that we receive a large group of visitors here. Do not seem merchants. Business, have you?" It's just between your unsure group.
Yeah, I think Henthir looks at the others. It's like, oh, well, we are searching for evildoers that are potentially targeting major dragons of the realms.
And you think such are here?
Well, we think that a major, significant dragon exists nearby. And it stands to reason that if they've gone after others, they would go after this as well.
Okay, I know you're not really trying to persuade.
So fucking persuasive. You have no idea how persuasive I am. This is why I have the Warlock do my stuff for me.
Yeah, 20. I mean, that's pretty good. Okay. Interesting. Why you all can join me? I am heading over to our fire, if you wish. Perhaps somebody there can help.
Yeah, I suppose we could use some hospitality. I'm Felipe Caro, by the way. I'll let everybody else introduce themselves if they wish, but who are you?
I am called Solid. Right.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Forgive us, the sailors were a little bit curt. What's the name of this village?
The village does not have a name as such. The clan. We are the people of Uthax.
How long you been here?
In this spot?
Yeah.
Not terribly long.
About 30 seconds, give or take.
Our tribe has been at this particular camp for, glance at this friend, 2 months. Our people have lived here for many centuries, thousands of years, if the elders are to be believed. They kind of look at Rudy and forgive me. Who are your people? I have never encountered one such as you.
Well, there are a couple different ways I could answer that question. By the looks of me, I'd call myself a Garrik. By the sound of me, I'd call myself one of the folks of the mountain. And that's about best I can do for you right now.
Standing this 7-foot tall figure, actually probably 7.5-foot tall figure, like, seems to contemplate this for a moment. Welcome, then, friend Garrik. Felipe, it is an honor to meet you.
An honor to meet you as well, Solin. We would gladly join your fire.
they and their companion kind of turn to head, clearly moving in the direction of the large, now magical bonfire system. It is. You're all, like I said, you pack the right clothes and everything, but it is still like frigid on the face. Felipe, you're doing okay. It doesn't bother you because you've got the ring of warmth on. But for the rest of you, it is a new brand of cold. For all of you sitting on the coast, you're standing essentially on ice at the moment, around docks, crafted on top of it.
Very. The cold hurts more as you advance in years. Henthir's like hunched a little bit more than he would be normally. And I think he can feel in his joints and bones the the fact that they break frequently from his own ability usage.
Yeah, that's
Rudy's got like a shawl that their grandmother made them like years ago that they'll offer to Henthir if it looks that painful for him right now.
He will accept the shawl. I think Ilya knows that Henthir does frequently get out of doing things by being old.
Felipe doesn't know that, and I will use prestidigitation to warm the shawl for 1 hour.
Nice and
heated,
toasty
like a
shawl.
little heating pad.
As Henthir puts on this quite warm shawl, you all enter into what seems to be the radius of the bonfire's heat. As it warms significantly, it's quite pleasant. You all see there's it is kind of like a market square. There's people kind of haggling with their various kind of catches of the day, trading. You also notice there seems to be a huddle of older Gathites closer to the fire who are seem to be sitting around a very large to all of you pot, which is steaming slightly, and they all have what to everybody else would be, a smaller but otherwise kind of normal sized teacup, but to all of them seem thimble sized in comparison to their large hand. You see them all throw it back real quick and sit there for a minute, waiting while a younger Gathite pours each of them a new glass in turn.
At that sight, Ilya mutters to Henthir under their breath, "Don't get any ideas, old man."
To counter that, Rudy has already gotten several ideas. I think that they and Henthir have definitely done tea several times and nudges them a little bit.
Yeah. Henthir looks at Ilya and says, "At the moment, the only idea I have is that I have the right to kill you if I think that you are descending to the dark side."
Ilya just bares their teeth right back at Henthir.
Henthir bears his actual lion fangs at you that don't go away.
Ilya just continues to stare.
But I think there's definitely more fondness than last time they were traveling together. But yeah, Henthir is as doing that, pulling out like a teacup from within his robes. Friend Gathite, may we partake in your tea?
Are you saying this to the group or to your kind of the guy who seemingly has self-elected to? Of course, any are welcome. Any elders may partake in. If you are to partake, might want to speak with Lemdan. You might know something what you seek. He'll point out to you a particular. Now that he's pointing, you think probably seemingly the leader, probably informally, but clearly everybody's body language is slightly deferring to this person in the circle. They're not really sitting at the head of it or anything, but you could just you're old, people, you could see when somebody's the de facto head.
Sure, that is a function of being old.
Yeah, that's an old person
being
ability.
insightful. I think Henthir inclines his head to the others that we should make our way towards that man, and we'll go and sit down, a respectful distance separated, but still like within the we will talk because we are of proximity in this circle of people drinking tea.
Henthir, you are offered a kind of pretty finely carved wooden stool. It is too large for you, but still you can sit in it. Your feet dangle slightly in a way that they haven't since
Felipe does for everything.
A very long time. Yeah.
Okay.
They don't immediately offer the other 3 chairs. You seem to not be quite old in their eyes.
Oh.
You all, however, are poured a cup of this tea. As I said, to all of you, it's kind of a normal sized cup, maybe slightly large for Felipe. And poured within it is this kind of very deep greenish color of tea, and you suspect that this is like the for those of you who know more about tea, that this is a very late pour from this particular thing. So it's really packed with the flavor.
And the Gathite are drinking it like shots?
They're kind of like throwing it back. They're not downing it in the sense, I more mean that they are pulling it all into their mouth and sitting with it for a moment before swallowing, but they take the whole glass at once.
I think Henthir... Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, you go.
I think Henthir kind of is noticing the way that they are drinking and kind of looks at the others and says, well, when in Rams, and does the same thing, which is obviously harder because he has a smaller mouth.
Yeah, you're kind of like cheeks slightly filling. It is... does everybody do this?
I'm like, look, I'm from Rams, and we sip. I'm not throwing the Henny back unless I know what it is. Just take a little sip.
Okay. What about Ilya? Are you drinking tea at all?
Yeah, Ilya has, after like the first few times Henthir made tea and they refused at this point, they do drink tea. And in fact, almost with a squint and like trying to like hide the cup, they are going to do the same thing that Henthir suggested and put the whole thing in their mouth.
The 2 of you who put the whole thing in your mouth, it is like quite strong, and you have the feeling without like the negative, like the bitterness of an alcoholic drink, like that kind of sudden wakefulness of having a shot in your mouth. But it immediately warms you down in the core, like almost quite quickly. The flavors are very strong, but it's very like tasty. Probably it tastes very different than some of the teas you're used to, but like a very strong floral flavor. You eventually gulp it down and feel the warmth radiate outward. Those of you who are sipping, it is slightly the same, but you're not getting the full warmth effect right away. And some of the elders look slightly at you, like not askance, not that they're going to say anything, but just like, people can't like they're. These 2 know what's up, but these other guys. As you sit down and take your first tea, it is like they are taking like a good 15 minutes or so. Wigs. You can see Lemdar is chatting a couple people quietly.
From Henthir's point of view, I think he's happy to wait until there's a break in that conversation to try and start another conversation. But If somebody else wants to speak to Lyndon, that's not a problem.
I'm content to wait. I feel like it'd be disrespectful to interrupt someone's conversation.
Rudy was raised with a healthy dose of respect your elders.
So that leaves just the brat,
Who
who
whose
doesn't like talking to
gratitude
people.
is only eclipsed by their dislike of other people. So they're just looking at everything, and that's probably their biggest like the most notable thing is how they are staring everything down, cataloging the entire camp.
If the silence goes on too long, I think that Rudy would be willing to break it at some point and go and ask them how they're enjoying their time, like have been enjoying the past 2 months being here.
But yeah, the conversation probably never lulls long enough that Henthir feels like interjecting. But there is a point where I think Rudy is like, I can step in, and it's probably not going to be rude, but like I will be slightly interjecting. Lemdar looks at you. Well enough as these things go. You are new arrival.
That is correct. And we are much obliged to your hospitality so far.
Welcome. How can the elders of our tribe help?
Well, it would seem we're unfortunately we carry the moniker of adventurers, and right now we're hoping to save your new home and perhaps the bounds outside of it from an impending dragon attack. Any information you could provide us would be much appreciated. Any interesting or strange goings-ons, any dangerous happenings, any of your priests going missing. Those are the trends we've been seeing so far.
Ilya at this point interjects. Or perhaps any of your members wandering off deliberately, not being seen for some time, gaining unusual powers. That's something to look out for too.
I kind of think about this for a minute. Both of you make me persuasion checks. Rudy, yours will be flat. Ilya, you can have advantage for having participated properly in their kind of tea ceremony. Okay. They look at Rudy and they kind of are thinking and they say, nothing recently comes to mind. Such thing. Always danger lies about the and then to Ilya. Do not know of any who have acquired powers, but Tarmon has always been somewhat explorer, has been gone longer and longer of late. You might be able to with them, know more. They are currently out to the north somewhere, where you could track them down.
Ilya shifts and they're holding their glass kind of like deliberately in front of their stomach. What about this Tarmon's family, people close to them? Anybody that is still in the camp?
Armon was close with Ilium for a time. Oh, is that too close to Ilya for you? Ilium? Sorry. My bad. I'm gonna change their name.
You should go for Willia.
No.
Onium.
Millium.
Or they were close to Wendon for a time. So, not seen them together. Find them over there. They point to to your eyes, what seems to be like a hunter. They have a very large, you would say like a great spear, even to a Gathlight. Like this is clearly a very large spear, probably more like a pike actually. And they are currently haggling over a very large tusked creature with a one of the people who just came off the ship with you.
I'm sorry, what did you say their name was again?
Wendan.
Wendan. Do you know... Sorry, I'm Felipe. It is an honor to be by your fire. Thank you for hosting us. Do you know the last time Tarman was here in the port?
I just remembered. Ilya, roll that persuasion check with advantage because it might matter slightly.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, it will definitely matter. I'll circle back to that. What was your question again, Felipe?
Do you know the last time Tarman was seen here in the port? You said that they've been further afield for longer, but when was the last time you remember seeing them?
Maybe 5 days ago. It's not unusual for a member to leave for up to a week on hunting trips. So, of late, Tarman has done less hunting, wandering.
Is it normal for you to go off alone in these areas?
Amongst the younger members, it is not unusual. So we prefer to travel in pairs. I can also tell you that Armon has a particular fondness. What ruins can be found. Those is similar to you in adventurous spirit.
Ilya looks at him, looks over to the rest of the group, and then rolls out their shoulders a little bit and places their hand at their side where that little hilt of their sword rests, but not on it. For his sake, I hope that's not the case.
He seems to like kind of notices and thinks it's interesting, but doesn't comment on it.
Ilya is going to just like with a very curt nod, thank him, and then turns, looks to see where Wendan is, and kind of trying to gauge how long that shopping trip is going to take.
They seem to be in the midst of wrapping it up. They seem to have, in the time that the conversation is continuing, they seem to have settled on a price and are exchanging.
To Ilya's eye, does Wendan look like he's made a good deal, like he's satisfied with his deal, like it's a good time to talk to him?
Make an insight check. You think so? At least they don't seem to be displeased. They're not ecstatic about the deal that they just made, but they seem like money.
Ilya's gonna look down at Felipe, who was most recently participating in that conversation, and then over to Rudy, and jerk their head in the direction of Wendan.
Sure, I'll join you.
And they kind of look at gaugingly at Henthir to see if he's going to continue enjoying his tea.
Henthir is very much looking at his teacup, but is also paying attention to Ilya actually taking initiative and doing something positive, as opposed to just avoiding talking to people. But is going to remain seated and leave it to the three of you to work out where to go.
How far is the distance between Wendon and the rest? Like, is there enough time for Ilya to mutter something to the other two?
Yeah, it's not like super far, but 30, 45 feet.
Okay.
You can have like a quick thing. But before Rudy gets up, Lemdar will say, I wish to know more about you and perhaps why you came. Might be able to offer me.
Yeah, what are your... I know what people in the mainland call this
Sorry, that was directed specifically at Rudy.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So I think
They're kind of waiting till it seems like you're all about to stand, so it's clear that like they're gonna let the other two leave, but they want Rudy to stop motioning to stand and sit back down.
Okay. What exactly is the crux of your question? Because I'm not entirely sure I've left anything pertinent out. We're here to seek a dragon, and stop the world from ending. I know that's pretty general, but that's about all we got.
Curious what has spurred this interest. By this point in time, the other two have stood up, so you can choose to sit back down, but you will have then stood and then sat back down.
I'm walking away. I'll walk over towards Wendon.
The two of you then walk away.
What stirred our interest personally?
Yes, why? What has caused you to go on this quest for these dragons?
Well, I can't exactly speak for the rest of us. I think I can speak for myself only. But I saw what one of them little fuckers was potentially capable of doing, and I feel like it is my duty to keep everyone safe. My friends, my family. I certainly cannot speak to the former cultist. I cannot speak to the creepy lion guy. But I think me and Felipe, we're solid.
I'm literally sitting right here.
Dragon companions.
Can I roll insight to try and understand what the crux of this person's seemingly vaguely racist questioning of the Garrik is?
You can both do insight checks. Pretty well. Rudy, you're not asking. The other two at this point have walked up. What did you, Felipe, or I forget who asked now? Did you want
to? So Ilya, on their way over to Wendon with Felipe, lowers their voice and says very tersely, not anywhere near as comfortably as they deliberately spoken with a Gathite. Tread cautiously. I worry about this character, Tormund, wandering around alone in ruins, not bringing back any hunt.
Is that a bit of a dark mirror for you? Not to get too personal, but
Ilya goes from like opening up to him and like trying to warn him, to just like their slightly open body language where they were kind of like at least facing Felipe as they talk just vanishes, and they use their height and their breastplate, and just the cloak around them to just like almost like they're erecting an invisible wall between the two of them, and after that like just beelines for Wendon.
Okay. While that's happening, Henthir, so the question you think was more of an excuse to get Rudy to stay because they want to acquire more with some of you. You think specifically he knows more about the dragons than he told Rudy initially, and he wants to find out why you guys want to know about it and what your intentions are. But he's not going to open up and say that right away because, yeah. Why would
I think Henthir says, well, for this creaky old person, I am the lost pride of the Bloodhunter, and it is our role to protect any that walk upon this world. And these dark creatures that want to corrupt dragons pose a threat that we have not seen since the Blight. And before my companion thinks to make a joke, yes, I was there for part of that.
I was not going to make that joke for what it's worth.
No, I wanted to point out that I'm old enough to have been at the Blight, so I know what I'm talking about when I talk about world-ending danger.
Well, we may not be as old as you suspect. Who have given us, I believe, truly honest answer. I was going to have you roll, but that was a very good speech. So I think he just.
Yeah, you gave me a lot of time to come up with flex my age to an elder of the Gathai.
Yeah. He will start to explain some things, but I'm going to swap back over to the other two. You approach Wendan, who is looking like they're about to walk off. They're kind of eyeing what seems to be a... it's not a store. It just seems to be like kind of a little bit of a hut out of which they are serving different kinds of spirits and to the tribe. Like more of a communal thing than like people exchanging money. So that's where they're eyeing to as you are moving to.
I also do think Rudy is keeping an eye on Felipe as much as they can in this moment. I think that like losing Anya as like their world journeying partner has kind of like rocked their shit a little bit, and Felipe has like been the next closest rock.
And you replaced Anya with Ilya.
Transfer.
Cool.
How do you two approach them?
I will sort of give a little gesture to Ilya to take the lead on this one. Felipe is just there for sport.
Ilya restrains their sneer, but Felipe probably knows it's there. And then turns to Wendan and just sort of dips their head slightly. I am Ilya, and like, despite the fact that they are very, very bad at getting along with people, it's starting to seem almost like that's on purpose, because they seem to be trying to kind of mimic what they see the Gathite doing, at least to some degree. And they just kind of gesture back behind their shoulder. The elder told me to speak to you. I need information, if you would be willing to share it.
Perhaps.
Ilya, like, is still just like a little off put by all of the way that they talk, and says, the elder says that you have had a companion by the name of Torment.
It's Tarmon. I will excuse Charlie. So assume that Ilya said correctly.
Yes.
They grow like, I don't think you have to roll for this, but they grow noticeably sour. Tarmon. Upon a time, they've done something else.
Not that we know of. We're here on some business, but we believe they may be involved with something to the north, less than savory, and we were wondering the last time that you heard from them or saw them around the port.
We crossed paths 2 days ago. I was returning. They were wandering further afield. Did not speak. They were heading almost straight north at that point.
Is there anything in that direction, game, ruins to loot, anything that would draw their attention?
There is some game to be found there. The farther north you go, the more dangerous the ruins too. You Armon was things. The elders kind of pause for a moment. Supposedly to the north there is a particularly great ruin. Armon often spoke of it. Don't know. Both of you can make an insight check.
I think also specifically, Ilya had definitely had at least one person in their past that they displeased greatly when they left, and they're kind of thinking about this as they watch Wendon. Kind of like a searching look.
Okay.
My dog is also like being extremely distracting. He's kind of like rumbling because the possum still.
Oh. No, I understand distracting dogs also.
My cat just takes up a third of my desk and does nothing else.
I don't know where my cat is, but not outside because I closed the door and stopped that.
Yes, you definitely get the sense that Tarmon and Wendon were really close. You don't know how specifically, and clearly they had a split, and like Wendon is having some trouble like talking about this. They're clearly kind of worried, but they're also like still kind of maybe bitter, you would say.
Ilya holds a hand down kind of low, like as like to pause Felipe in his questioning. And then very straightforward, looks straight at Wendon and says, "You said it was for a time. If this Tarmond, is that right?
Tarmon. I'll type it.
Tarmon.
I should
Tarmon. All right.
Let me type all these names.
Like a poke. Okay, like a Digimon.
I don't know that one.
All right. So,
Okay.
this Tarmon, if he were in danger, would you do something about it? Or is that from the past?
Persuasion check. Get them to open. 15. Okay. Yes, I would not abandon someone that easily. If I suspected danger.
Ilya waits a long moment because like they've picked up that these folks take a long time to speak, but assuming that he's not going to say anything further, Ilya
Roll slightly too.
clears their throat and says, well then, I will tell you that my companions and I are investigating demonic activity. And that if you want to avoid that friend of yours, were he still a friend, experiencing something quite a bit worse than death, then you should share everything you know. There's nothing subtle about it.
I feel like this is
they're
this is
out of
definitely
practice.
an intimidation check. So go ahead and roll intimidation.
All
Take a
right.
completely different tact. 18. It's slightly better. They seem like I'm unsure what you wish to apply, but to Harmon, though guided at times, though we might have argued, he is not a bad individual. Certainly, he would have nothing to do. Not in the way that you suggest. And he seems like quite upset that you would like suggest such a thing to him. Like, how dare you? Harmon would never. Although he's a Gathite, so that's repressed.
Ilya just turns to Felipe and then says, his pride is stronger than his concern. Let's move on. And just starts to walk away. But
Stay
they're
your
listening.
feet, small one. If you wish
Ilya turns
for
back.
to see the truth, I will take you out. And I will take you to Tarmon. And we will see the reality of things.
Ilya dips their head and smiles slightly. And my companions are right over here. When will you be ready to leave?
I am always ready.
Ilya just nods and turns back to the to go join Henthir and Rudy.
As Ilya turns away, Felipe is going to turn and just say, "Ilya." Wait for them to make a move.
Ilya stops, and I don't think Ilya even turns their head to look down at Felipe, but they are stopped and they are listening.
I want to apologize. I'm sorry. I don't know what sort of probation you're on with the lion guy, but there's no judgment from me. If I ask you questions about your past, it's not because you're on probation. It's not because I'm judging you. It's because you're an asset right now and we're trying to save the world. We spent the week on that boat and we didn't say a word to each other. It's time to bury the hatchet. Last time we saw each other, me and a couple other people pressured you into signing up for a religion that you had never thought about once in your life before that. So I'm sorry. I just want you to know you're more than an asset to me and you're more than a liability. And that's all I'm going to say. And then I will walk past them back towards their friends.
Ilya still hasn't started moving by the time that Felipe has walked past them. They're just still in that same spot of the stow, and they finally they follow Wendon back to the fire. It takes them so long to start.
And when Wendon is behind Felipe, Felipe's like, none of that matters right now. Don't worry about anything I just said. Thanks for all your help, Wendon. We really appreciate it. This is the crew. Yeah, that's Henthir. That's Rudy. What's up? What's up, everybody? Let's get some tea. And Felipe just jumps right back into
it. We cut back slightly in time to the conversation that Lemdar was having with Henthir, where they Gathite of the North speak of many things. Legends are stories relate one to the next. One of Ilharkor Frost Forger, dragon of far ancient. Our people were not called Gathite. We were other. A ruin you can find some days the journey inland towards the heart of the wastes. Might find what you seek there. I know that this dragon slumbers. So, I know that this dragon slumbers still, they say. So, something trying to wake them. Destruction. You may go with our blessing.
Family, I promise you, we want to keep it sleeping just as I think y'all do, so we really do appreciate you telling us this.
This is around the time that Wendon, Felipe walks over with Wendon just behind, and then Ilya kind of slightly in the distance and gives their, like, this is the crew's speech.
As I'm walking past, I just sort of saunter over past Henthir really quickly and just be like, lay off a bit. They're trying. And that's it.
Henthir raises an eyebrow in the slowest eyebrow raise that you've ever seen.
Tormon looks at the other two. He says, my name is Tormon. I have agreed to show you. Sorry. Get my own name.
It's the evil one.
My name is Wendon. I have agreed to lead you where Tormon might be. I can track him the best of all our. Go this one. Not.
Ilya just strolls up behind him and smirks slightly over at Henthir.
Henthir has not lowered his eyebrow, so it's still in place for Ilya.
You just turn the direction of the raised brows.
Well, it seems that we have reason to leave. And he, I think, has recently got tea and does the same thing and, like, gulps it down.
Before we leave,
We will... Go ahead.
I was going to ask if I could have 10 minutes, and then we could hit the road. I have a thing I can try. You guys can keep chatting and drinking your tea. This will just take me 10 minutes. Last game, I bought a bunch of materials to cast this spell, but I never cast it.
Mm-hmm.
And if possible, I would like to cast Legend Lore on, not the name of the continent, the name of the dragon, Ilharkor Wastes.
Okay.
The one time every game Legend Lore is good.
So since we're going to end right now, I think to give you a more complete answer, I will type something out that you learn that is awesome. Like a full answer, and I will make it stylized as well. So, and I'll read that at the top of the next session. I'll send it to you guys beforehand, but I'll also read it for the stream.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think in the 10 minutes of Felipe is carrying that, Henthir kind of rests his arms on his like legs for a little bit after like letting the warmth of the tea draw through him, and pulls out from one of his pockets. It's a like iron bangle with hanging from it 7 fangs. And I'll use a use of my hybrid transformation, and he grabs one of his own fangs and just pulls it out of his mouth and attaches it to the bangle and hands it to Lemdar and says, if it happens that we are not successful and we do not return, one day the path of pride will bring someone here for this bangle.
Until that day, go to he pulls out like a wrapping, some kind of scarf that he has it, wrap it in That's it.
Henthir nods, and where the blood is like streaming out of his mouth, his crimson right activates and freezes it into an ice fang to replace it.
I think we're going to end, assuming nobody wants to do it, with you all setting out then with Wendan in tow, heading out across the wastes. We're going to pick up with the legend lore, and then we're going to do some stuff that happened before the Ice Giant fight, and jump back over the Ice Giant fight. In this weird, interesting timeline thing I'm doing.
Mini campaign, damn me.
I really like doing it this way though, because like I might get to combat at the start of the night when I'm fresh.
It helps me to.
I
it does really help me to gauge how much time I have and like try to move things appropriately. That's definitely a beneficial aspect. Although I did think it was going to take 2 hours, and it did almost exactly take 2 hours for me.
Nice.
Pretty close. Thanks everybody for coming. As you might not know, we are now an affiliate on Twitch. You can subscribe to us. We got Twitch Prime. You can do it for free once a month. If you don't have Twitch Prime, you can do it anyways, but it is $5 base tier anyways. As always, follow us on Twitch and YouTube. This will be up pretty quickly. I'm going to try to get these. I'm trying to speed up the rate that I'm doing the VOD. So hopefully, tomorrow sometime. We will be back next week for the thrilling conclusion. I'm quite excited. That was really good roleplay there at the end. Does anybody want to say anything before we jump off?
No.
All right.
Ciao.
See you guys.